On down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and I cry. Well, I bet there's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. But I know I had it coming. I know I can be free. And those people keep moving, and that's what tortures me. Well, if they freed me from this prison, if that railroad train was mine, then I'd move it on a little bit farther down the line. Far from Folsom Prison is where I want to stay. And I'd let that lonesome whistle blow my blues away.
Which equates to 13 opportunities to win a brand new Yamaha Stratocaster signed by every member of the band today, as well as all of ABBA, AC/DC have signed it, the Howe Gurus are on there somewhere, Van Halen. So only 13 more opportunities. They're only $5 a ticket. You better be quick, because one fella, the magnificent Joe Howe, has just bought $50 worth. He thinks he's going to win. Now, before we get the yah-yahs and Ozzy Osbourne on.
My dad left home when I was 3, didn't leave very much to my mom and me except this old guitar and an empty bottle of booze. Now I don't blame him because he run ahead, but the meanest thing that Daddy ever did was before he left, he went and named me Sue. Well, he must have thought that it was quite a joke, and it got a lot of laughs from lots of folk. Think I had to fight my whole life through. Some gal would giggle and I'd turn red, and some guy'd laugh and I'd bust him in the head. I'll tell you, life ain't easy for a boy named Sue. Well, I grew up quick and I grew up mean. My fists got hard, my wits got keen. Roamed from town to town to hide my shame. And I made me a vow to the moon and stars. I'd search the honky-tonks and bars, and I'd kill that man who gave me that awful name. It was Gatlinburg in mid-July, and I just hit town and my throat was dry, and I thought I'd stop and have myself a brew. At an old saloon on the street of mud, and there at a table dealing studs sat the dirty mangy dog that named me Sue. Well, I knew that snake was my own sweet dad from the worn-out picture that the mother had. Knew that scar on his cheek and his evil eye. He was big and bent and gray and old, and I looked at him, blood ran cold, and I said, "My name is Sue. How do you do? Now you're gonna die." Well, I hit him hard right between the eyes, and he went down, to my surprise, up with a knife and cut off a piece of my ear. And I busted a chair right across his teeth, and we crashed through the walls into the street, kicking and gouged in the mud and the blood and the beer. Well, I'll tell you, I've fought tougher men, but I really can't remember when. He kicked like a mule and he bit like a crocodile. And I heard him laughing and I heard him cuss, for he reached for his gun, pulled mine first, and he stood there looking at me, and I saw him smile. And he said, "Son, this world is rough, and if a man's gonna make it, he's gotta be tough." And I knew I wouldn't be there to help you along. So I give you that name and I said goodbye, and I knew you'd have to get tough or die. It's that name that'll help to make you strong. He said, now you just fought one heck of a fight, and I know you hate me. You got the right to kill me now, wouldn't blame you if you do. But you ought to thank me before I die for the gravel in the guts and the spit in your eye, 'cause I'm the son of a bitch that named you Sue. I got all choked up and then I threw down my gun, called him a pa and he called me a son, and I come away with a different part of you. And I think about it now and then, every time I try and every time I win, and if I ever have a boy, I'm gonna name him Bill or George, any damn thing but Sue. That's a horrible thing to do to a boy. That's a... Thank you. Noel, would you be able to get Lexi for me? For now, for Jackson. Thank you, everybody. Hey, John, then wait for her. Anyway, I was hanging around the switch shop the other day. I was minding my own business like I usually do, when a man with a gun and a badge, he walked up to me and he said, "What are you hanging around here for?" And I said, "For whatever's going around, I'll have some." He didn't think that was too funny. He said, "Oh," I just said, "I'm looking for my baby." He said, "You picked a bad place to look for your baby." I said, "I got a bad baby." We got married in a fever, hotter than a pepper sprout. We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. I'm going to Jackson, I'm gonna mess around. I'm going to Jackson, look out Jackson town. I'm gonna snowball Jackson,
see if I can.
Oh, and I breeze into that city, up and out of people gonna scrape and bow. All them women gonna make me teach them what they don't know how. I'm going to Jackson, I'm gonna loosen my coat. Yeah, I'm going to Jackson. Goodbye,
that's all she wrote. Yeah, I'll laugh at you in Jackson, and I'll be dancing on my pony. Yeah, I'll lead you around town like a scalded hound with your tails up between your legs. Yeah, go to Jackson, you big talking man. Jackson, I'm a J-Pan fan.
Well, we got
married in a fever,
hotter
than a pepper sprout.
We've been talking about Jackson ever since the fire went out. I'm going to Jackson,
and
that's a fact. We're going to Jackson, they never coming back.